Ladies and gentlemen, I know I am a few days, even a week late to the party, but if you did not know already, the WWE draft has happened, has occurred, and now it is currently gone, but all of the answers are there. So I want to go through all of the draftees that were selected for both Raw and Smackdown and give my opinions on every single round that has occurred. There were some positives, there were some negatives, and I'm going to give my personal opinions in this video. So without further ado, let's do it. What's up everybody, it's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a WWE draft video. Because of the WWE draft, there was a lot that did happen that changed both Raw and Smackdown and gave it a diverse and new look on the WWE programming. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. I do apologize for being relatively late to making this video, but I did want to talk about it. It is a very big change with WWE. So many very talented and some of my favorite wrestlers have decided to switch brands because of this draft. I did feel like it was very important to talk about. We are going to go look at every single round that did happen within the WWE draft, including the free agents, and give my honest opinion on what I thought about those specific rounds, and of course, who has the better show after this. It's going to be very interesting, so please join along, and we're going to get started with round one right now. So, the WWE Draft, round one consisted of, with the first pick, Monday Night Raw selected Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion. With the second pick, the SmackDown Live roster decided to pick Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion. With the third pick of the round one, WWE Raw selected Asuka, the Raw Women's Championship. Number 4 on SmackDown, they decided to pick the Monday Night Messiah Seth Rollins, who will be changing to SmackDown, and Raw with the 5th pick will select the Hurt Business, which contains Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. Now overall, WWE round one was very predictable. Of course, you expected Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns to remain on the shows. You expected WWE to keep the Raw Women's Champion in Asuka. The most surprising thing, and I do think it's probably one of the biggest things to ever occur with the draft, is the selection of WWE Seth Rollins. The Monday Night Messiah has decided to take his prophecies to SmackDown to try and reign supreme on the blue brand. And I personally loved this. I absolutely loved it. Seth Rollins, I think it was needed because realistically, he's always been on Raw. I don't really remember Seth Rollins being on SmackDown consistently for a long period of time. He's always been in relation to Raw, and I do think that a change is needed. Not necessarily because he's stale at Raw, but I just think it was beneficial for him to go to SmackDown. Obviously, SmackDown will probably have a lot more for him to do with a lot of different superstars. Him reuniting with Roman Reigns could be a very big possibility. And overall, it was a great move in my decision to capture Seth Rollins to SmackDown. And of course, it's a big blow to Raw. That's one of the cornerstones of Raw, and I do think Raw will survive without Seth Rollins, don't get me wrong, but I do think SmackDown was a very good winner here, and the blue brand is probably taking the edge within the first round. Let's go to the second round right now. Round 2 of the WWE Draft consisted of, with the first pick, Raw selected the phenomenal AJ Styles. With the second pick, SmackDown selected Sasha Banks. With the third pick, Raw picked Naomi. With the fourth pick, WWE SmackDown selected Bianca Belair. And with the fifth pick, Raw selected Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, of course, when you're talking about round 2, it consisted of a lot of the women within the WWE going selected very high within round 2. You saw Sasha Banks get selected to SmackDown. You saw Bianca Belair get selected to SmackDown. Overall, very good picks for the SmackDown brand, the blue brand. And of course, Raw got the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And of course, I think the most interesting thing here as well is that Raw selected AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, going to Raw. I I've never really liked AJ Styles on Raw, I'm not going to lie. I really think even earlier on in SmackDown, back in 2015, 16, or when he was facing John Cena around that time, I'm not sure about that timeline, that was probably his best that he's been with the WWE. I think Raw always tends to misuse AJ Styles, but I think this was necessary. Apparently there was a lot of talk going around that there's been problems with Paul Heyman and AJ Styles, so SmackDown was not the way to go, and I fully understand that, and I do think Raw will benefit AJ Styles at the moment, hopefully. I think he has to be one of the top stars there. I don't think he should be on Raw Underground or whatever they're going to do now. I just don't think that should be the way to go with AJ Styles. I think as soon as he walks in, he should be within the title threat with Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and more. And of course, that's a very good pick for Raw. Of course, the sleeper pick here will be Naomi. Of course, that's probably going to be the sleeper pick. A lot of people are very mixed on Naomi. I think, honestly, this move will hopefully do wonders for her. I do think she's a good enough wrestler to be in title matches. She really is. And she should be winning a lot of matches. I think she's been misused for a long time. And hopefully it's going to be different on Raw, but I just don't see... I see Raw end up giving maybe Naomi a few title matches here and there, and then it'll be back to what is she going to be doing. And I don't want to see that happen, but that's overall my opinion. That's what I think will happen. And I think she deserves a little bit better than that, but we're going to have to wait and see what will happen. Hopefully Raw, with the 3-hour time limit as well, can give a little bit more to the women's division and tag team division, as they also selected Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the tag team champions. Round 3 of the WWE draft consisted of, with the first pick, Ricochet to WWE Raw. Then following with the second pick, SmackDown Live selected Jey Uso on his way to face his cousin, Roman Reigns. With the third pick, WWE Raw selected Mandy Rose, who was recently traded to Raw. With the fourth pick, SmackDown Live picked Dominic and Rey Mysterio as the father and son duo head to the Blue Brand. And with the fifth pick, Raw select The Miz and John Morrison. Very, very good tag team. That's all I can really say about that. WWE round 3 of the draft was very interesting as well. More of the less, we got a lot of rivalries happening and a lot of people are switching brands. So of course, the first thing that really popped up in my mind was Dominic and Rey Mysterio going to SmackDown Live to see Seth Rollins there. They switched their rivalry over to the Blue Brand, and they hopefully should continue it there, where they could get a final conclusion of that storyline. It's going to be interesting. From the beginning, I thought Dominic should go to NXT, but of course, I think that ship has fully sailed now. They're going all out on this kid, and he is going to do his battling on the Blue Brand. NXT's not made for everybody. Maybe down the line, he'll go to NXT. But at the moment, he's living life good on the main roster. He's done an exceptional job. One of the more favorable characters. I do think SmackDown Live will be a very good, welcoming place for Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Because Rey Mysterio, if you don't know, guys, if you haven't been watching wrestling for that long, Rey Mysterio was one of the cornerstones for SmackDown ever since its creation, really. I mean, back in 2002, 2003, Rey Mysterio was there. Back in 2007 and 8, Rey Mysterio was there. He was one of the cornerstones, one of the founders, creators really, of SmackDown, and made it what it is today. And SmackDown is still probably my favorite brand to watch. So it's good to see Rey Mysterio back in his home brand, and I really appreciated that. Obviously, Ricochet to Raw. Ricochet, in my opinion, probably should have moved. I don't think Raw's the place for him, but of course with 3 hours, I want more out of Ricochet. I want them to do more out of Ricochet, and I know Ricochet is happy to be there. I know Ricochet is grateful for the opportunities, but I think there should be more opportunities. To be interesting what he does with the Hurt Business. It's gonna be interesting. I'm really gonna look forward to it, and that's all I could say on this round 3. Let's move on to the next round of the WWE draft. Moving on to round 4 of the WWE draft, Raw selected Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, The New Day, and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Of course, following that, SmackDown selected Big E, who's also the other New Day member. He will be competing on SmackDown on a singles run. The second pick Raw selected was Dana Brooke. Very interesting there. The third pick, WWE SmackDown selected Otis, who is still Mr. Money in the Bank, by the way. With the fourth pick, Raw will select Angel Garza. And I think that's it for round 4. So, Whew. Round 4, of course, the big thing here, the New Day splitting up. I think that's the big talking point. I'm a big fan of the New Day. As a gamer myself, I watch their YouTube channel, Up, Down, Down, and I really appreciate the content that they provide. I'm really excited to see what Big E could do on SmackDown. I think that's the big thing here, because I think out of everybody on the New Day, no offense to anybody there, we already know Kofi Kingston was a WWE champion, but I do think Big E probably has the most potential to go and do something for a longer time, a consistent time. And Big E is a fantastic wrestler, and I look forward to see what he could do on the blue brand all on his own. And I know he's not technically on his own. The New Day haven't split up, like broken up, but Big E probably deserves a single run. I truly believe that, and I'm very happy to see him get that opportunity. Of course, it's not going to be, it's gonna be a bit weird to see Big E on his own without the thought of having New Day coming back. But it's happened, and now we're going to have to wait and see how things will go. Of course, we'll see New Day and probably Big E. They're going to reunite on pay-per-views and stuff like that. So it's not going to be a terrible loss, or it might not even be that significant. But we're going to have to wait and see. That is something that I did want to keep my eye on. Obviously, Angel Garza to Raw is a very good pick as well. Look, Garza has all the potential in the world, and if they're going to continue the rivalries that they have. Again, something that is really important is that they need to build these people up. And Garza is a fantastic wrestler, and he's going to have a good feud with Andrade, I believe. But you need to build these guys up so they can last longer than the one feud. And that's what I think the issue with Garza is, that they might not push him up beyond this feud that he will have, and that's it. Otis to SmackDown, I think that was going to be fair. Look, I don't like how they broke Mandy Rose and Otis up basically a few months for them to getting together. But yeah, look, Otis to SmackDown, I still think is probably the right way to go. I personally don't think Mandy Rose should have went to Raw. I don't see the issue. I don't see the point. But hopefully she does well there. At the end of the day, I think that was definitely the wrong move, and we have to wait and see what happens with that. And of course, that's it. Dana Brooke also went to Raw. I'm assuming tag team partners for Mandy Rose, and yeah, that's it. Look, it's not anything special this round, but of course the big thing is here that the New Day did end up splitting up, and I think a lot of people will be heartbroken about that. Some people might be actually happy as well. People have been asking about this. Now, I'm not going to go into this one really quickly, but I'm going to go with this one quickly. Round 5 of the WWE draft consisted of Raw collecting Humberto Carrillo, Drew Gulak, Tucker. SmackDown received Murphy and Kalisto. So again, I'm pretty sure I said Humberto's name wrong, and I do apologize. Look, I'm not the best at saying names, especially when they're in a foreign way of saying it. I apologize for that. The big thing here is Tucker moved to Raw, so Otis and Tucker won't be together anymore. So that's a bit sad. I mean, they usually go well together, but I guess they're trying to split up another tag team that didn't need to be split up. I don't see the point in this, but hopefully we'll see Tucker do well. Murphy going to SmackDown again to continue the feud with Seth Rollins, if there is going to be a feud, and all that feud with Dominic and Aaliyah and Rey Mysterio and everything like that. Very, very good. And SmackDown got Kalisto, another person that I think probably should do well. He should do well. I mean, he's a good wrestler. Again, they don't use him much, but yeah, that's it. This is the one that was announced on Talking Smack, so there wasn't really much to go into here. Drew Gulak is a good wrestler. Hopefully he gets time to do something on Raw. At the end, that's round 5. We're going to move on to the second night of the WWE draft. Now, all of the people that did get drafted was for the SmackDown show, but obviously Raw had the draft of its own, and some people that weren't eligible to go into the first round, second round, third round of the draft did indeed get drafted on the Monday Night Raw show. Obviously, they need to make sure that all of their stars get selected, but obviously on different shows, so you have more incentive to watch Raw and not have everybody go off from SmackDown. Makes sense. WWE business move. It's very simple to understand. So you're going to see a fantastic draft class for round 1 and round 2, and we'll continue to move on. So let's start off with round 1, why don't we? The first pick for the second night of the WWE draft, Raw selected The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And with the second pick, WWE SmackDown selects Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then with the third pick, Raw selects the Viper, Randy Orton. Unbelievable streak of popularity at the moment. SmackDown, with the fourth pick, selected the Street Profits, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions. And fifth, Raw selected Charlotte Flair. There we go. It's a jam-packed round one, isn't it? Of course, the big things to talk about. Charlotte Flair. That's the biggest takeaway in my opinion, because I have not heard about Charlotte Flair for oh so long, and I forgot. Just similar with Becky Lynch, I forgot how much of an impact she's gonna make when she returns to Raw. And obviously, being the Queen of Raw, it's going to be good to see her back, I'm not going to lie. And of course, it will bring more competition to the Raw Women's division that has been lacking over a course of time. And at the moment, I still think is kind of lacking. So I'm very interested to see what Charlotte Flair will do on Monday Night Raw. Of course, the Street Profits moving to SmackDown, which ended up resulting in the Raw Tag Team Champions and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions swapping titles, because both of the tag team titles basically got swapped for the brand. Bayley on SmackDown to continue the Sasha Banks feud. Very good. The Fiend Bray Wyatt moving to Raw. I really want to see this Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt feud continue. So I would have loved to see Bray Wyatt on Raw, and I do think that's a good decision. I think there's so much to talk about. Plus, I think if you have the Fiend Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns on the same show, eventually they'd have to collide, and I don't think WWE are ready to do that until WrestleMania. So unless the Fiend wins the Royal Rumble, we might not see that for a while. And I think WWE are willing to take their time with that. I don't think they're willing to rush it all in for WrestleMania. So overall, this, in my opinion, was a very good first round. And we're going to move on to the second round, which even has more jam-packed individuals. So let's get started with round two. Round two of the second night of the WWE draft consisted of, with the first pick, Raw selected Braun Strowman, who will be coming back after having a little bit of a stint on Monday Night Raw. The second pick, WWE SmackDown, will pick Daniel Bryan, one of the faces of WWE SmackDown. With the third pick, Raw will select Matt Riddle, a very young and up-and-coming individual who will have a great career in my opinion. The fourth pick, SmackDown will select my personal favorite WWE wrestler on the roster, Kevin Owens. I'm excited to see him and Sami Zayn reunite. And with the fifth pick, Raw will select Jeff Hardy, one of my all-time favorites as well. And that's the jam-packedness of the second round. Now, a lot of these names are probably not going to be straight into the title. There you go, that is it, you're going to be the champion. But a lot of these names are all of them really fantastic wrestlers in their own rights and their own styles. Again, Jeff Hardy to Raw is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think Jeff Hardy will continue that tag team with Matt Riddle, which I'm not too keen on, to be honest. I'd prefer them both to be singles wrestlers, but in the end, things will happen. Both of them are on Raw for a reason at the end of the day. SmackDown selected Daniel Bryan. Very good pick. I haven't seen Daniel Bryan in a long time, but it's good to see that he will be coming back and he will be doing his thing on SmackDown. Again, SmackDown is a great thing. It's a great thing for Daniel Bryan. Of course, one of the faces. Kevin Owens, I love Kevin Owens, man. Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers, in my opinion, in the roster, both as a face and as a heel. I think they're gonna have to do something really creative with Kevin Owens, because I think the guy deserves it. And I'm really upset that Aleister Black hasn't been picked yet, by the way, as well. I can't believe what they've been doing with Aleister Black. But regardless, we'll have to move on, and we're gonna move on to round 3 of the WWE draft, and that has a few key implements too. Let's kick off round 3 with the first pick, Raw select Retribution, which insist of Mustafa Ali, T-Bar, Mace, Slapjack, and Reckoning. And of course, if you actually know who these people are, they are obviously NXT superstars that are getting their push on the main roster, with Mustafa Ali being the key. And yeah, moving on to the second pick, SmackDown select Lars Sullivan, the Freak, has returned to the WWE. With the third pick, Raw select Keith Lee. Let's bask in his glory. But the fourth pick, SmackDown will select King Corbin. And with the fifth pick, Raw selects Alexa Bliss. So, key takeaways here: Retribution will remain on Raw. Obviously, there might be a feud with the Hurt Business that's going to be coming at Survivor Series. Looking forward to that. Obviously, another thing as well, Alexa Bliss will remain with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. They did not need to break them up this soon, so I'm very happy about that. Alexa Bliss is really doing well with her new character change. Lars Sullivan, obviously a returning person. There's been a lot of things about Lars Sullivan that's been spoken about. Obviously, he's had to go away for a bit with all of the things that did happen. He had to go and take some training courses and stuff like that for just because of the things that he said in the past. And I do think the roster might be leaning towards not liking this guy. But obviously, I think you need to give Lars Sullivan a chance. But I guess I could say I agree with the SmackDown pick, but we're going to have to wait and see what Lars Sullivan can do, because I do think that his future might be in jeopardy if anything does end up coming out about him again. And yeah, look, I like Lars Sullivan. I have no reason to hate the guy. Hopefully he's learned his lessons and he'll move on and become bigger and better than ever. And of course, King Corbin to SmackDown. This is really a nothing thing for me. King Corbin is probably one of the better heels in the WWE, but it didn't really matter Raw or SmackDown. I think he would have done pretty much the same despite the brand. And that is the third round. And let's kick off the fourth round right now. And the fourth round of the second night of the WWE draft, the first pick Raw selected was Elias. Are you ready to walk with Elias? But the second pick, WWE SmackDown selected Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Champion. With the third pick, Raw selected Lacey Evans. With the fourth pick, SmackDown selected Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. With the fifth pick, Raw selected Sheamus. There we go. Well, first of all, SmackDown, again, I talked about Sami Zayn before, going to SmackDown, reuniting with Kevin Owens maybe, could be a potential storyline there to look forward to. Despite that, he should have stayed on SmackDown. Intercontinental Champion does need to stay on SmackDown. Raw selected Elias. Oh man, I don't know if it's just me. I felt like I haven't seen Elias in years. It will be interesting to see what happens with Elias when he comes back. Lacey Evans going to Raw is a bit of a, doesn't really matter. Raw, SmackDown, I still think she'll be doing around the same stuff. Obviously, the Raw division really needs a boost in the women's division, and I think Lacey Evans might be the key to that. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro staying on SmackDown is a good move in my opinion. There's not really much to say about it. I do think if they went to Raw, it'd be very similar, but I do think Cesaro and Shinsuke, see, I got caught up with the bar. Cesaro and Shinsuke will do very well on SmackDown once again. They were tag team champions for a reason, and Raw selected Sheamus. Yeah, look, I don't know why Raw selected Sheamus, to be honest. But yeah, look, I hope Sheamus can get an opportunity wherever he goes. But again, we're starting to see a little bit of the people that you just don't know what will happen to them. And it will be more exemplified in round 5. Round 5 of day 2 of the WWE draft consisted of, with the first pick, Raw selected Nikki Cross. With the second pick, SmackDown selected Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Good to see Robert Roode back. With the third pick, Raw selected R-Truth, I believe, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, the 24/7 champion. With the fourth pick, SmackDown selected Apollo Crews. And with the fifth pick, Raw selected Daba Kato. So, that is round 5. Again, this is a bit of a thing where you just don't know what's going to happen with these individuals. For example, the only person I'm really certain will have a storyline on either of these shows will be Nikki Cross, because I think Nikki Cross will be a key development with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. Besides that, I don't know what Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode will do on SmackDown. I don't know what R-Truth will be doing besides running away from people for the 24/7 championship. I don't know what Apollo Crews will be doing, and I don't know what Daba Kato will be doing on these shows. So, it is what it is. I mean, round 5, we're starting to get to people you just don't know what's going to happen to them. And hopefully, things will pick up for some of these people. Again, round 5 was not a terrific round, but I guess these guys had to get picked. And notice, still till this time, where is Aleister Black? Aleister Black has yet to been picked. It's so sad. Even Zelina Vega has not been picked yet. Natalya hasn't been picked yet. We had a lot of picks, and they're all going to go to the later rounds, man. We're going to move on to round 6. Round 6 of night 2. The first pick, Raw selected Titus O'Neil. It's good to see Titus O'Neil. With the second pick, SmackDown selected Carmella, had a fantastic character change that we've all been trying to guess who she is, and we now know. With the third pick, Raw selected Peyton Royce, Australia's own. With the fourth pick, SmackDown selected Aleister Black. And with the fifth pick, Raw selects Akira Tozawa. Now, again, a lot of interesting people, in my opinion, in this round. A lot more interesting than the current, than round 5, in my opinion, round 6. The big thing I have with this is Aleister Black got picked so late, and I mentioned it previously, and I'm going to mention it again. Aleister Black should not be this far down in a draft. Unacceptable. This guy was one of the favorites in NXT. This guy was one of the favorites entering Raw, and now he's being picked as bottom filter. Picked at the bottom of the show. I don't like that. And same with Peyton Royce, to be honest. You literally split up the Iconics so you could give Peyton Royce a push, yet she's being picked so far down in the draft. And Billie Kay is a free agent, man. Oh my. Why did you split up the Iconics? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, moving on. Titus O'Neil, I don't know why Titus O'Neil was picked at all, to be honest. I think Titus O'Neil should be the free agent, because as much as he does off the show for WWE in branding and marketing, and obviously bringing a lot of charities together, he is one of the key founders of that, and that's truly respectful, and I really respect and rate this dude for doing that. But on the shows of Raw and SmackDown, you just don't see Titus O'Neil enough, in my opinion, for him to get selected. It's as simple as that. You had Natalya, you had Lana, you had Billie Kay, you had a lot of individuals that were probably more worthy of that pick, but unfortunately, Titus O'Neil got that. No disrespect for him personally, I just don't think he was worthy of being selected, to be honest. It is harsh for me to say that, but maybe he could prove me wrong and make something out of his career now on the show. And yeah, anyway, we're gonna move on to round 7. I'm going to go quickly on round 7 and the free agents that obviously you got picked. Round 7 consisted of first pick, Raw selected Lana, who is actually going to get a title shot for the Raw Women's Championship. SmackDown selected Natalya, splitting up that tag team, which was very short-lived. The third pick, Raw picked Riddick Moss. Interesting. Fourth pick, SmackDown selected the Riot Squad, which I assume is Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, obviously renaming themselves. With the fifth pick, Raw selected Arturo Ruiz. Sorry about that. And yeah, that is the seventh pick, which was announced on Raw Talk. Again, I can't believe Natalya's this far down. And the Riot Squad as well. I mean, oh my, man. Oh my. Anyway, look, I could be upset all night long about how the draft was treated, but I think overall the draft was a good draft. We're going to move on to the free agents. The free agents that was announced after Raw. SmackDown will go to Zelina Vega. SmackDown also picked Tamina. Raw picked Eric. And SmackDown picked Billie Kay. So Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are no longer on the same show. Again, if you're splitting up the Iconics, you shouldn't put them on the same show. I just don't know why. They did it. Even till this day, I'm confused why Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are not a tag team. SmackDown with Zelina Vega makes a lot of sense. Zelina Vega obviously is in a relationship with Aleister Black. That makes complete sense. Tamina staying on SmackDown. Yeah, it's an okay pick, and same with Eric on Raw. Overall, that was the draft, and it's a long video. It is a long video. Overall, what did I think of the draft? Look, it had its ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you that I thought this draft was absolutely amazing. I like that Seth Rollins got moved to SmackDown. I like that Dominic got moved to SmackDown. I like the fact that Kevin Owens is on SmackDown. I think SmackDown had a terrific boost in talent, in my opinion. And I do think Raw, with the 3-hour show, has a little bit of a lackluster show now. I think they've boosted their Raw Women's division, and they may have boosted their tag team division with the New Day as a namesake, and not really with wrestling. So I think the Street Profits were perfectly fine on Raw. But overall, I don't think Raw had that didn't get that much. It really did not get that much in terms of this, except The Fiend is the big one, I think, with Raw. But reality is, I think SmackDown did win this draft if they have to give an option. Again, I don't know what other people have to say about the draft. I don't know what other people think about the draft. The one negative I could say is that people like Aleister Black should not be this far down on the totem pole, even to the point where R-Truth is being selected ahead of him. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. And, yeah, look, I don't know. I really don't know. I think some of the things that they did pick is absolute disaster. But overall, I thought the draft was okay. It was good. I do think other drafts were better than this one. But again, SmackDown won the draft, in my opinion. And, yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. A very long video. I do apologize. And I apologize. This video has come out days late. But at the end of the day, it's better late than never. I do want to keep talking about the WWE, and I wanted to talk about the draft earlier. Just has not been that much time for me, but I've managed to do this video now. Again, the next WWE video I'll probably do is the Hell in a Cell reaction and grading WWE Hell in a Cell. So if you guys are new to my content and you want to see that video, please stay tuned for after Hell in a Cell, where I do that. And of course, for more of other sports, if you do want to stick with this channel, please give it a subscribe and turn notifications. I'll see you in another WWE video. Take care and peace.